Okay, gotta get your little something in your stomach before you go to church. Come on, are you hungry? No, you're not hungry? Yeah, you are hungry. Come on, sugar, you know you need to eat a little something. Yeah, come on now, come on. Get some food in your belly, that's what we gotta do. Help you sleep better during Sunday school, during church service. Just in case something gets by, we don't want you thinking too much now. Come on, all we need you to do is show up. Pay your tithes, sit in them pews. Come on now. Come on. Yeah, sugar, that's it. Yeah. See? Don't that look good? Yeah. Okay. Come on now. Come on. Just a little what? Come on now. Come on. Don't think too much. Don't think too much. Just a little something. Oh, come on. You know this is gonna taste good. Come on. Just open your mouth wide. And come on. That's it. And just say. Shalom, everybody. This is the name game. We're looking at God, G-O-D. And we're going to see exactly how we are being spoon-fed this. That was the little sequence that you saw at the beginning. We're being spoon-fed. And we're going to look at one of the names that we're being spoon-fed or tricked into calling on, and that is G-O-D, God, okay, with a capital G or a little g. Okay, so first off, let's look at the word God. Okay, first of all, it's a title, okay? And if we look in the American Heritage College Dictionary, under title, for definition number 9, a formal appellation attached to the name of a person or family by virtue of office, rank, hereditary privilege, noble birth, or attainment, or used as a mark of respect. Okay, so another definition is that God, literally, it's deity. That's another word for it. It's deity. That's all. It can be, again, if we look in the American Heritage College Dictionary, deity, a god or goddess. Okay, so there it is. It's deity and God, you can use them interchangeably. 2, you got 2 definitions under for the second definition. A is the essential nature or condition of being a god, divinity. And then for B, deity or God. So when you talk to the average Christian, okay, the modern mainstream Christian, a lot of them literally think that the name of the Almighty, that his name is God, okay? And they don't understand that that can be used the same way that, say, someone who is studying the gods or the deities of Egypt or of the Nordic gods. You've got the god of lightning, the god of thunder. I mean, it just means deity, or it's just a title. That's all. So when you ask a Christian, well, what's the name of your God? They don't know. Or what's the name of your deity? They'll just say God. I always thought it was God. We just call him God. They don't understand that is just a title or it's just a rank. So that's the first little trick, okay, that we're being spoon-fed. The second point that we need to look at is that in the Hebrew Scriptures, where the Bible comes from, it's based on the Hebrew Scriptures, that God, pronounced God, G-A-W-D, that it is a name, okay? It's the name of an individual. It's the name of a deity. And so where we get tricked or confused is not understanding that there is a difference between the pronunciation and the spelling. What you are spelling, G-O-D, is one thing, but what you are saying is another, okay? And so we're going to break that down. Now, if you look in your Strong's Concordance, if you look at the word God, G-A-D, there are 3 definitions. Number 1408, God, it's a variation of 1409, and it means fortune, a Babylonian deity. Okay, 1409, God, from 1464, in the sense of distributing fortune. And then for 1410, you have God, a son of Jacob. Okay, so two of these definitions talk about fortune, wealth or prosperity, a god of fortune, or the distribution of fortune or wealth. Okay, and then the last one is that it's the name of one of Jacob's sons. Okay, and we understand that when he was born, His mother was grateful, she felt blessed, and so she called him God, okay? Referencing being blessed, being fortunate to have a son. Okay, now one point that I need to make is that if you look at the Hebrew letters, you look at the vowel points that are underneath those three names. You have these little bitty dashes and symbols. If you don't understand what they are, I suggest that you get a Hebrew grammar book. Okay, you can find them online. You can go to any Christian bookstore and you should be able to order them. Okay, now I use the Hebrew, it's Biblical Hebrew by Page H. Kelly. It's got a workbook and it's got the actual grammar book. But if you look under 1408, it has a symbol. It looks like a little dash. It's called a pata, and it has the pronunciation ah, the ah sound, like father. Now these are the examples that are listed in the textbook that I have. So it has the ah sound for father. So when you look at 1408 and you see that dash underneath it, literally God. There it is. 1409 and 1410 carries a different symbol. It looks like a T, okay, but it also has the same pronunciation ah, and they try to explain that it's a different sound, but the example that they give is daughter. Well, daughter, ah, sounds like father. I mean, it sounds the same, so technically it's the same sound, okay? But so don't get thrown off if when you look at those letters in your Strong's Concordance and you see the pata underneath 1408 and you see the kamis under 1409 and 1410, it's pronounced the same way, okay? But that's where it gets tricky. So again, knowing that one of the definitions is the Babylonian deity of fortune and the other word means fortune, and then you have the name of one of Jacob's sons, well, let's do the math. What do you think they had in mind when they put in God We Trust on the American dollar bill? Okay, let's look at that. You've got the fact that for decades, okay, for at least from the 1950s up until recently, that the American dollar was the most popular world currency. It was the currency that got the highest exchange rate. It is the currency that the majority of people in the world are familiar with. It doesn't matter if you go to Europe, if you go to Africa, if you go to Asia, if you go to down under, if you go to Australia, if you go to New Zealand, if you show someone an American dollar bill, they're going to know that it's an American dollar bill. They're going to know which country that currency belongs to, okay? So again, do the math. Did they have in mind the son of Jacob, or did they have in mind the Babylonian deity of fortune? Okay, so again, so instead of saying God, replace it with the actual name of that deity, fortune. In fortune we trust. Fortune bless America. For fortune for flag and country. So what we need to be aware of is that it's not what we spell, it's what we say, okay? Because if you look at how it's spelled, G-O-D, well, that's one word. But if you look at how it's pronounced, you've got a completely different name, okay? You've got a completely different meaning. And we know that the O sound is often pronounced ah in certain words in English. And I've got some listed right here. You've got college, smock, cog, knock, fog, tog, rod. I mean, they're spelled with an O, but they're pronounced with an ah. Okay, let's look at some other phrases, because it's not what we say, it's what we say, not what we spell. So instead of saying praise God, what you're really saying is praise fortune, thank fortune, in fortune we trust, fortune bless America. But we're going to use another witness, okay? Jacinius it's called the Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon to the Old Testament. And for the definition for God, the second definition, number one, it says fortune, especially the divinity of fortune worshipped by the Babylonians and the Jews exiled among them, elsewhere called Baal. Okay, now Baal is a name that has been superimposed in the scriptures. You can find it all over the scriptures. It was a very common or well-known popular god in that area of Canaan, and you can see how it was slipped in amongst the Hebrews, that those Hebrews who fell away from the covenant begin to worship Baal. They begin to, on their own, to slip in different titles that represented his name, and if you don't catch it, you don't catch it. But that's really it. These are going to be just quick little dollops, little servings. That's why it's called spoon-fed. Okay, but we're going to have some more. But yeah, that's really it. Shalom.